Very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kusum Sarvaya, and on the very first day of presentation, I am going to make presentation on African literature, especially oral tradition and storytelling in African literature. So this is my academic information, things which we are going to discuss in the presentation, and here is a research question and hypothesis. So the question is like, what is oral tradition and how African literature, storytelling play in preserving African history, culture, and especially in African literature. The hypothesis is would be like oral tradition is a fundamental pillar of African literature, shaping its narrative, techniques, themes, cultural significance, even in written forms. African literature continues to preserve and adapt oral storytelling methods, demonstrating their enduring influence on destiny, history, and resistance. So let's start with the introduction. So oral tradition and storytelling have been the backbone of African literature for the centuries, serving as means of preserving history, culture, and moral values. Before the advent of written text, so written text is also that, but before that, storytelling, and which is more, we can say, that very common thing in African literature, and especially we can see that how common and how simple it is in African societies. So here it is, what is oral tradition and storytelling in African literature. So it is foundation on African literature, serving as means of preserving history, culture, and social values through spoken narratives. So it includes many things like myths, there is folktale, there is epics, and legends, proverbs, and poetry, and often they perform with music, dance, and gestures as well. So we know that how the not only the stories and not only the poems were there, but African societies are also known for their dance and for their that event special dance which they used to do at the marriages and at the events as well. So here are forms of oral tradition. So there are many forms, as we can say, that not only the transmitting of stories, folklore, and historical accounts, but also it is myth, folk tales, legends, proverbs, riddles, and praise poetry. And the very main thing that I want to say, that it is animalistic approach, which we can easily notice in the African literature and African novels. We have from our BA we have gone through many African literature stories and poems, and we can see that how they used to live in the forest, in the jungle, and that's why they are near to animals, and they are connected with nature. And that is why we can see that how animals are included as a character, how nature included as a character in their works and in their produces like oral tradition and stories as well. Theater is the acceptable thing, and Koteva is the another thing which is maybe not we are familiar with. Koteva, it's a word from a Bamana language which means a big snail. Just like a snail will have hold the burden of a shell on its back. Bomana people used to say that we have a burden, or we can say that we have a carry our culture at our own, and we have to spread it everywhere. And there are nearly 20 rhymes and movements styling situated in the Koteva movement. So here are features of oral tradition in African literature. So the role of griots, elders, and community in storytelling. So griots are actually, we can say that a traveler who used to travel one to another place, and they used to tell the stories and tell poems and literate peoples, especially the new generation. Another thing is animalistic approach, which is a very common thing, as I say, that how they are connected with the nature, how they connected with the animals, and the nature and animals are almost like characters in that society. This belief system sees animals, plants, and natural elements have a spirit and influencing human life. The another thing is proverbs, myth, and folktales. We have a number of proverbs in our community as well. That how these proverbs are made from centuries ago, and these are works as well right now, and we can apply it right here at that time as well. So we can say that how proverbs have transmitted, how proverbs have traveled through the history to this time. The next thing is from oral to written tradition. Not only the oral tradition is there, but storytelling is a very attractive thing, better than writing something. And if we can say in the point of view of African literature, so Britishers have prohibited to writing and to publish something. So that's why maybe they have chosen oral literature instead of writing literature. So here, as we can say that Hausa and Swahili is a language, actually a dialect, the local dialect of West Africa, which are played key roles in transmitting and transition from oral to written tradition. So these are, we can say that, the very first dialects which have adapt oral tradition to written tradition. Despite colonial influence, African literatures adapt foreign literary traditions, blending them with oral storytelling to create a unique literary identities. The very nice and maybe the very important thing that how it is important, what are the importance of storytelling in African culture. So to it, not only the reason is not only to entertain something, but it means of educating younger generation. So one generation pass their traditions and pass their cultures and values to another, to next generation, to and reinforcing morals and values, preserving their history, strengthen social bonds as well. And so we can say that not only the entertainment purpose, but they used to spread the dignity, the respect, the morals, the values of their community to the next generation. They also have served as a record of historical events, ensuring that traditions and ancestral wisdom are not all lost over time, not only in the African literature, but we are the we can say that we are the generation who have passed out the journey of Nokia keypad phone to the AI, artificial intelligence. So we have, personally, I have, if I want to say that I have heard the story from my grandfather of his adulthood. So these kind of stories are actually say to for the spreading courage, justice, knowledge especially, and respect as well. So these kind of importance, we can say that hold storytelling in African culture, and how this culture is depicted in in African literature. So this is the best example, if I want to say, Gugiwa Thiong'o's Wizard of Crow, which is apart from we have studied his another novel, A Petals of Love, which is also another example of a novel that holds the theme of storytelling and oral tradition, where to spread something is not only an entertainment, but it is kind of rebellious thing as well. These are another examples of oral tradition and storytelling. Things fall apart. Chinmaya Achebe, it's a prominent name while we discussing the African literature. So because this man have given a number of works to contribute to African literature, and he have done a rebellious work in African literature. Wizard of Love, that as I have said, and Petals of Love, where we have seen that how Nyakunya was telling stories to their new generation, especially Manja, and how they were hold respect for the Nyakunya and for her stories. The God of Small Things is another example, and how their in this story Arundhati Roy, how written by Arundhati Roy, and how their Amu was telling stories to their daughter and son. And the last, which is very current, or we can say contemporary thing, it is written by Dushoy Datta and Nikita Singh. If it's not forever, but if it not forever, if it not love. And here are my learning outcomes. Apart from the connection between stories and oral tradition to the community, we can say that these kind of story these are only happening in the not only in African culture, there are another culture as well, but in the African culture it holds the, we can say that, magnificent meaning. I understand the role of oral tradition in African societies, not only in African societies ever, but it is kind of where the African culture is a society where they hold meaning different kind of thing, because they very needed these kind of stories, and as they were colonized by the Britishers. Explore the connection between oral tradition as post-colonial literature. As I have said, that Britishers were prohibited these kind of thing to write something and to publish something, and they were very conscious that black peoples can't able to rebel against them. So to write something and to spread something, it is kind of rebellious thing. So that's why post-colonial powers were trying to diminish them. And And the last thing, recognize the adoption of oral traditions in contemporary media. Right now we have many adaptations, very not adaptation, but we can say that how we have said is that these kind of storytelling nowadays there is, but it's kind of different thing. So we have many Instagram IDs and many there are many medias as well, social media where people used to come and they organize this kind of function when they were used to tell stories and so this is kind of, you can say that how this storytelling platform is totally different and totally we can say that modernized itself. And we have this kind of thing as well where a particular book going to publish before that writer came and they used to read the story. So this is, we can say that another modernization of storytelling. These are the here I have conclusion, written conclusion that how the oral tradition are not just historical element of African literature, but living traditions and continues to shape its narrative style, themes, and cultural significance as well. From ancient folk tales and myths to modern novels, we can say that African writers have preserved, adapted oral storytelling techniques to reflect contemporary realities while maintaining a content connection to their heritage. So we can say that this fusion of oral storytelling and written tradition ensured that African literature remains a powerful tool for the education, for the cultural preservation, and for the resistance against the oppression. And lastly, we can say that as African storytelling towards it continues to serve as a bridge between past and future, past to present, and keeping alive the voices, wisdom, and identity of its people. So here are some works cited, and thank you very much.